have 1 minute.
1 minute, all right.
Yeah.
1 minute to spare.
Yes, please.
It kind of brings back a little trauma. I used to have to write things for my agenda in the garage. So if I go into a convention,
Thank you.
that's why. You guys
I'm
were
just-
I have mine.
Thank you.
I'll take one. So I won't write that. He said to make.
Okay, we are on, so I'm calling the August 7th, 2025 meeting of the Library Advisory Board to order. First of all, we do have a quorum, and second, I'm hoping you've all taken a look at the minutes that were emailed to you. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, and I have a second. Thank you so much. Discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved of the May 1st meeting. Thank you. Now, we move on to citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda. Would any citizens care to be heard?
Sure.
Come on up to the podium. Yeah, identify yourself. and-
I have kind of some problems walking.
Okay, that's all right, we'll wait.
Yep, we're not going
Yeah,
anywhere.
right up to the microphone there.
Hi. My name is Andrea Mendez, and I'm from Miami, but I moved back to Florida. I moved back to Clearwater after having, been in Miami for 20 years. And we are very upset that your budget is being cut so much. I mean, I grew up here. I went to high school at Clearwater High School, and I used to go to the Moss Brothers here. I'm so thrilled you have this building. It's beautiful. But we're very concerned, and so are my kids, about you guys being closed on Saturdays and Sundays specifically. We're very concerned because, I was working. I was the director of quality assurance and stuff, so of course I was working, and my husband was still alive, but still, my kids didn't go to expensive places for after-school programs. They went to the library. They went to the downtown library in Miami. They went to the Coconut Grove Library. They went to Sunset Library. They went to all the libraries. We even went to ones that were really good for kids, decorated for kids. And this library is beautiful. And my concerns, of course, not only is my concerns for the kids, where are they gonna go for after-school programs? Where are they gonna go Saturday and Sunday? Have a library book in my purse right now, So I'm upset about that, and I'm also upset about the fact, and so are my kids, especially my daughter, who's 20, and she's one of their constituents, and she, before she moves to Iowa to change things there, she's really talented. And they also meet on Sundays for your Dungeons and Dragons. I guess there's about 7 or 8 people that meet for that. And that's a monthly thing. And I don't know where those young adults and older teens are gonna hang out. And where they're gonna tell their stories and practice making their own stories. Because that's what Dungeons and Dragons is. It's not some evil thing. And first and foremost, I know I've spent so much time already, but is the homeless. Where else can you go to get water, air conditioning, in a heat craziness? This is nuts. This is unfathomable, right? How much we're on heat advisories, and where are these people gonna go to see a friendly face and see their peers and get some air conditioning and see a beautiful view and expand their horizons a little bit mentally? So I'm very concerned about that.
Andrea, thank you so much for coming and talking about this today. These are my concerns too, and I'm so happy that you came and talked about them. And if you can find other places to
cry.
talk about, that's good, cry. If you
I
can
also
find-
share your concerns and would ask you to come to a city council meeting where
Absolutely,
you can speak
Andrea.
to the entire city council, because
Yeah,
unfortunately,
okay.
they do the budget. We
Okay.
have
So where do
no,
I have to go for that?
we have no control over the
The
budget.
meeting is tonight
Mhm.
Tonight?
in this council
Here.
chambers.
Okay.
Yes. I wish I had the time right on the top of my head, but I don't. But before you leave, like, everyone knows that in this building, so do you know what time
It is 6 o'clock, I believe.
Well, I just want to
6
add.
6 o'clock.
So
Okay.
citizens to be heard on general topics is not available during council meetings. Citizens can talk about what's, items that are on the
On the
agenda.
agenda, yeah.
However, they will be having like a first reading of the budget and a second reading of the budget in September.
In September?
By that time,
September.
the budget is written.
Oh, wow.
And you can also reach out to city council leaders by phone, via email. You can contact the city manager's office.
So I got a lot of work to do.
So there's
Yes.
other
Dang.
Definitely
Yes.
email
Dang,
every
I feel
city
like I
council.
work in the council again.
Well, get you some of your neighbors to join you, you know?
Yes.
You get together maybe and have a little potluck or whatever, and start calling and writing, you know? You have other like-minded people in your neighborhood who have concerns about the library.
Well, and we're on Drew Street, so.
Yeah.
We got all
Yes.
that going on.
Sure,
Exactly.
sure, but
And
that's.
they do read all the
maybe-
emails.
Right.
So
Maybe
email
Salazar,
every
no,
city
that's,
council.
what's their name?
Yeah,
I don't
email and call, and you don't have to
Yes.
wait to do that. You
Yeah.
can do that
I
anytime.
would say get started right away.
Yeah, and as often and as frequently as you can, you
Mm-hmm.
know, with your neighbors and other people who are concerned to get the message across.
Okay,
A little bit of homework.
thank you. I will do this. But the agenda, I know when I had to do the agenda, when I had to provide items for the agenda, when I would see the agenda, it was like this thick. Is that how it is in Pinellas County too?
It is usually that way. This is for the city of Clearwater, the meeting here.
Mm-hmm.
So there are usually many, many things on the agenda.
And is there a way to get that in advance of tonight?
It's on the internet.
It's on the city's
Yeah.
website.
City's website.
myclearwater.org.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
I know, a little bit more work.
Okay.
Meetings
And
and
it was
Well, it was a
agendas.
pleasure meeting you
Well,
ladies.
we thank you so much for
what you
coming
do.
in.
Well, I'd like to
All
say
right.
too, Andrea, we have plenty of people coming to those meetings who are not obeying that rule. They're coming in and getting hits for their YouTube channel and saying whatever they want, whenever they want.
Can
So
you talk about that a little bit more, if you don't mind? Indulge?
if you want to know exactly what I'm talking about, you can see the televised meetings on the City of Clearwater's YouTube channel. And we have people coming here and just getting hits for their YouTube channel, trying to get the cops to hit them, just causing a disturbance in the meetings.
The
And that's-
Trumpers?
Do what?
The Trumpers?
I don't know.
The
what
right-wingers?
I
No,
don't
it's
know
just
what their exact
people who have their own
affiliation is.
issues. But yeah, I would just encourage you to get with your friends and start calling and emailing and, yeah.
Run for office and be the president.
Hey, that too,
All
that works too.
Thank you, Andrea.
But we thank you
appreciate
for your
coming today.
concerns.
Thank you so much.
All right, let us move on now to new business items. And the first of those is the library proposed budget for 25-26. Ms. Obermeyer, I am going to ask you for input on this issue.
So the proposed budget was, we had a special budget meeting yesterday for the city council, so we had some presentations. In your attachment, it gives a detailed report of the proposed budget for fiscal year 25-26. In regard to the library, we have a reduction of 7.5 FTEs, full-time equivalent employees. So we, for fiscal year 24-25, we had 82.9 FTEs. Now, if the budget is approved in September, for fiscal year 25-26, we will have 75.4. The result of this is a reduction of hours in 2 of our locations. So I've mentioned this before in previous meetings. Our Countryside used to be open 12 to 5 on Sundays. They are no longer offering, we are no longer offering Sunday hours at any of our locations, but Countryside was the only one that had Sunday hours. And then Main Library was open Saturdays 12 to 5. And now Main Library is closed Saturdays, and we have been closed on Sundays for a little bit. So no weekend hours at the Main Library.
Who made these decisions? Like, who made the decisions which days and hours to cut? How did you-
I did.
You did? Is there a reason or is there a reason we couldn't maybe have one of the weekdays?
Yeah, we talked about
Sure.
that a little bit the
We
last.
talked about it last time.
That's okay,
That
she
is
could talk.
something that I definitely considered. However, Saturdays have been challenging for the Main Library because of all the park activities. The park activities and also the Ruth Eckerd Hall amphitheater, and the Bay Care Sound. So the more activities and events they had downtown, it really posed a challenge for access to the Main Library. Now, and I'm not just talking about parking, but just general access to the Main Library. So we were seeing, and I evaluate all the data, and we were seeing a significant decrease in footfalls and program attendance on Saturdays because people either said, oh, there's an event on Saturday downtown, I'm not going to even bother going to the Main Library because I'm not going to find parking close by, or it's going to be, really crowded. So that's how I came to the decision about Saturdays. So it was data-driven.
And yet,
So
money
right-
parking was a problem all along.
Always.
We have been
Yes,
harping on
parking-
that for years now.
parking is
And when they
challenging.
took half the
Yeah, that's-
library's parking
Yeah,
away,
it's a
we
very
knew
big challenge.
that we were going to be paying for it later.
So is this the weekend, the closing of the weekend hours is all of would that be North Greenwood as well?
No,
or-
this is
okay.
just the Main Library.
Main library.
And part of my decision-making process was, so the Main Library wouldn't be available on the weekends. However, we have 4 other locations.
around you.
Now, the Beach Library is not
Right,
open on
yeah.
the weekends, they never were. But we have North Greenwood, our East Library, and our Countryside Library that are open on Saturdays. Our North Greenwood, our Countryside Library, and our East Community Library at SBC.
They're gonna be open on Saturday.
They have been open on Saturdays. They remain open on Saturdays. And as part of this change, I've added hours to those days and including Fridays.
Oh,
So
okay.
now Main Library, we used to be open 12 to 5 on Fridays, now we're open 10 to 5. North Greenwood, East is open a little earlier because they follow the college hours a little bit. But in Countryside now, instead of 12 to 5, they're open 10 to 5. So they actually gained a few hours, access
Yeah.
hours. So that was part of my decision-making when I was given this assignment to reduce our department's budget.
Sounds good, thank you.
Tough assignment, sounds like you weighed everything, very deliberate, and at least there's some positives for
And-
extended hours in other places.
And I just want you all to know that, we make changes, we make decisions, I make decisions, and we see how it goes. So that doesn't mean this is forever. Sometimes, you change hours, and we see how it goes. If something's not going as planned, or if it's, if there's a better way, then maybe in the future, there could be other changes. But for right now, that's what is being proposed.
One factor I'd like to mention, which is not on the agenda, are these upcoming proposals for the use of the main library. And it says in the proposal, call for proposals to use this building.
Right.
That it may be taken over in its entirety. So what I understand is 3 proposals have been accepted or chosen. Is that right?
Yes, they were ranked.
Oh, okay. Are they all taking over this building in its entirety, or?
Okay, so I am part of the selection committee for this, and this committee operates in the sunshine. It
Oh.
follows the sunshine law.
So you can't-
So I am
she can't
unable
say.
to discuss specifics because we actually have a follow-up meeting next Friday, the 15th, to hear from the top 3 proposals.
Okay.
So I can't, I am not allowed to elaborate. Now, those are public meetings, so
Is the
people can-
information available on the internet that we could, like, the 3 that were selected, is that available yet, or is that gonna come out later?
Yes, it is public record.
It is,
So
okay.
you
So we can go look it up.
you can request to see all of the proposals.
We have to
They
request
are
this.
now
Okay.
public record.
Gotcha.
Because we had the initial meeting last week. So
Mm-hmm.
now they are public record, and you can make requests to see those proposals.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I bring that up is, obviously, if somebody else is taking this building, it doesn't much matter if we're closed on Saturday and Sunday, right? Because this building will no longer be a library if that's the case, so. Just bringing that up.
Yes, because I had heard the same thing, that the main library was closing, and I thought, that's obscene, frankly. I just am appalled.
Yeah.
But if I may go back to the budget, is the work on the beach library going forward?
Yes, in fact, on Monday's work session, Parks and Rec Department is managing this project because it's primarily, the library's inside the rec center. So they are working with an architect. And on Monday's work session, we added the library piece to that project. So we are working with an architect to get the beach library up and running. So we are in that process. I don't have a timeline, but we are moving forward to reconstructing the rec center and the library.
And what is the staffing for the beach library?
We have 1 full-time librarian and 2 part-time library assistants
Okay.
at the beach library.
All right, any other discussion of the budget? Then let's move on to board
Oh, I just
duty.
had one question for the budget. You mentioned the additional budget meetings. I was trying to remember when you said they were, for the council, the full budget. They were going to have two budget meetings. I don't remember what months. I know September, I think, is one of them. God bless you.
Yes, by law, you have to have a first reading of the budget and the second reading. And the second reading is the final approval by city council. So those 2 meetings are in September.
Okay.
I think the first meeting, Danny, and I don't have my computer up. First meeting is in the beginning of September, and I
Okay.
believe the second meeting, which would be the second reading in the budget, is September 15th, I believe,
Okay.
Thursday.
So I'm sure they're on the my city.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just thinking of having another show of support for libraries at both of those meetings.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, now let's move on to board duties. Precisely what?
Well, I just wanted to, just as an awareness of, the duties of the board, and particularly the sunshine law, because I believe last meeting there was a question about sunshine law. So I just wanted to include it, and maybe if you have a will to discuss specifics, I'm not an attorney, and that's why I included in the packet details from our attorney about what is the sunshine law, what can you do, what can't you do as a body, as a board. So really, it was just informational, and if you had any questions that I could answer, and of course, if you have questions that I can answer, I will definitely get you that information from our legal department.
I had a question. So if I wanted to also be a member of the Friends of the Library, is that permissible since I'm on the Library Advisory Board? Could I be a part of Friends of the Library as well?
To my knowledge, absolutely you can.
Okay. And then the second question is, if there were other people on this board who also joined Friends of the Library, and we all talked about Friends of the Library, but other topics may come up about the library, is that permissible, or have you crossed over into violating the Sunshine Law? To me, it doesn't seem like you have, but because you're involved with another group, you're part of another group.
True, and that's a very good question. I would prefer to get legal advice.
Okay, yeah, and that's why I bring it up, because I'm interested in joining Friends of the Library, and other board members might be interested in joining it, but I don't want us to do that if we're going to get in violation of the Sunshine Law.
I mean, you could talk to, other members of the Friends group, or neighbors or whatever about library activities.
Right.
It's talking to each other as a body when
Right.
when it's not a public meeting. And
Right,
they call
and-
that, discussing it in the sunshine.
Right, and that's why I was like, but if you're part of the Friends of the Library and you're at their meeting, you see what I'm saying?
Yep,
And
I see exactly
That's why I
what you're
asked for
saying.
clarification,
So,
because, another one of us could join Friends of the Library, and we're both in that meeting talking about library events, because it's Friends of the Library. And so I wanted to make sure, does that violate the Sunshine Law?
Yeah. Let me get clarification
Okay.
from legal, because again, as you know, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
No, when I first became involved with the Library Advisory Board, I asked if it were possible for us all to go to lunch after,
Yeah.
to get to know each other, and like,
No,
no.
I know that part's a no.
Oh, okay.
But that's not exactly true, right? Because we had clarification on this. We can go to lunch, we just can't talk about anything that has to do with the library.
Right.
Gotcha.
And then there was a further clarification that we could email basically any discussion. Is that right? I think you said that last time, that we had the ability, as long as it was written.
No.
No,
What-
that's,
No,
that's in
you
the.
see
right.
under the Sunshine Law memo that I provided.
Yes, that's in there.
It said any verbal.
Right, written, yes.
Oral, it cannot be.
Right, that's in
Oh,
the.
that's not happening.
Right.
And the tricky part is you can't discuss things that may in the future be on your agenda.
It makes it really hard to be any kind of effective, because we meet every 3 months.
Yes,
In the midst of this, our board is being consolidated with 2 other boards. I don't know if you knew this.
Right, and I
yes.
was hoping
attended
we would talk about
yesterday's
that.
meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that's another thing that
yeah, I
What
had
does that
that
mean
under
for us?
other things to talk about, board members to be heard, to ask
Yes,
about
I
them.
figured
Yeah,
we'd get to
yeah.
that, yes.
So, that's, the board consolidation is a concern because it makes you wonder, well, are we going to have fewer meetings or more meetings or,
Well, I guess we're gonna get to it, so I guess we can
Yes.
right, we'll get to
Okay.
it.
finish with the Sunshine Law.
Anything
Yeah.
further on board
Well, I-
duties or the Sunshine Law?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I feel like there should be more meetings if we're going to actually try and help with this budget situation or any of the situations that they're pretty serious in the libraries right now. If we want to be effective as a board, I think meeting every 3 months is not really doing anything. So I think we need to have some kind of additional meeting set up or something like that so that we can get work done. And if it needs to be televised and that would make it okay with the sunshine laws, then I guess so be it. But at the same time, it seems ridiculous to make any kind of discussion about that now because our board's going to be consolidated and we don't know what that means. So,
Well, we know that it would be bi-monthly meetings.
okay, well, that's better. Yeah.
Yeah. And that, as it was discussed yesterday, they were thinking in terms of 7 members, so it'd be more than the 5 required, and that it would be spread across the 3 boards. Now, I'm kind of jumping the gun here.
Okay.
But it might be 3 from EAB, 2 from Library, and 2 from Parks and Rec.
Okay, gotcha.
But that's all tentative, theoretical
Gotcha.
at this point. So, all right. If there's nothing further on board duties, let's go to the director's report. You're on.
Were you planning to discuss the consolidation or?
Well, we couldn't do that now, or I was sure that under board members to be heard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes,
You're
'cause
right.
we
either
have-
way,
I'm sorry.
because that's
And
where I
that was my
going.
assumption that that's when
I
we,
am, my bad. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's where I was gonna
Okay.
jump in.
then we'll discuss it there. All right. You may
Okay.
continue with your director's report.
Yes, so the one that is a big change. So on June 28th, we did officially change our hours. So like I said, the main library no longer has Saturday hours, and we added some hours. Countryside doesn't have Sundays. So those officially changed on Saturday, June 28th. The parking situation, as you know, has been challenging. So, kind of hyperlinking, but related. The hotel construction, I do not have an update as in regard to their groundbreaking. I don't have any details, so. But we anticipate, once they start construction, that there will be access impacts. So during COVID, our locations who didn't have drive-throughs, drive-up drive-throughs, we offered curbside pickup. And that was really well done and well received back in the early COVID days. And then obviously things got better. So we stopped it, but I brought it back here because of the parking challenges. And the intent is people can, like you would at the grocery store or any other retail establishment that offers this service, people can drive up. I don't know if you noticed the sign out front. People can drive up. They just call or text the phone number on the sign, and staff members will check out their items that they requested and bring it directly to them in the car. So they don't need to get out of their car. They can sit in their car, wait for a staff member to come out and give them their library materials. We just launched that probably 3 weeks ago, but from what I'm hearing, it's very popular and appreciated. So, I'm trying to find small ways to mitigate some of the access challenges that we have been experiencing, and that we will increase once the construction begins with the hotel, and then the Osceola Streetscape project, which is anticipated to begin in this fall. I think September, October.
Wow, it's a lot of disruption.
A lot of construction downtown upcoming.
So is all the parking in the front right now, is that all we're gonna ever have? Did the hotel take the rest, or?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay, oh, wow, that's sad.
Yes.
That's pathetic.
Yeah.
There are city lots around the park, and they are planning to build a parking garage down South Osceola. Of course, there's Garden Ave parking garage and MSB parking garage. So, there is parking. It's just people will have to walk. So curbside pickup, it's been very good, and so I'm really happy to report that we were able to bring that back. And
I'm sorry, can we go back to the hotel parking? Because wasn't there a percentage that was supposed to be for the library? No?
yes, so the agreement, as I understand it, that has been approved is 50 dedicated spaces for city business, so for city employees.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Within the hotel.
I thought at some point we thought that was going to be library patrons, or not? Was that never going to be library patron parking? Was that always like?
It was probably considered,
Okay,
but
okay,
the
okay.
Ultimate decision was
Gotcha.
City staff. Okay, we just concluded our summer reading program, and I always call it our season for libraries, because, the students are out of school, and they love to come to the library and participate in our summer reading program. So this summer was another successful year. kids and teens of all ages. And then we also incorporate an adult summer reading program. So adults and parents and guardians can also participate alongside the young children and teens. So I just wanted to say it was another successful year. And we always conclude our summer reading program with a back-to-school event. And for the past 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 years, we were giving away backpacks and school supplies and books. And this has been something that our Library Foundation has continued to support in regard to monetary funding for this event. So this year we gave out $10,000 worth of school supplies and free books to children up to 17, 18. And again, I just want to mention this was a generous donation and continued support by our Library Foundation. So it was fantastic. And actually, the event is going on this week. So. And then another wonderful program that we offer is a partnership program with the Suncoast Animal League. It actually starts in May and goes till July 31st, and that is our pet supply donation program. And so that just concluded July 31st, and our community has donated over 450 items to benefit the animals in the shelter of the Suncoast Animal League. So it's a wonderful partnership, and we're just very proud to be able to help animals in need and organizations in need of pet supplies. So, moving on to the North Greenwood mural. I believe last meeting I mentioned that they were getting a mural, and they still are getting a mural. However, the artists that we initially selected, there were some hiccups, so we had to move forward with the second artist. So we are just in the planning phases of that. So stay tuned. We're working out the details and whatnot, but North Greenwood will get a beautiful mural on the facade of the front entrance. So just want to mention that. Again, you touched, Kelly, a little bit about the museum, cultural institution proposals. Again, I am not allowed to elaborate or discuss details, but I do want to mention that we had our first meeting last Friday, and we have a follow-up meeting on the 15th here in Chambers. It's a public meeting, so anybody can attend. And
What
the
time
top,
is that next Friday?
I don't have my phone. I think it's at 10:30. It will be on the website.
Okay.
Yeah. And the 3 top organizations that were selected by the committee will be presenting their proposals to the committee. So I just want to make you aware of that. Staff have been feverishly planning for wonderful fall programs. So a lot happens during the fall. We have some holidays. So just be on the lookout for just wonderful programs. Of course, Halloween is a big one. And then Thanksgiving and the winter holidays. So we're planning on some great programs to celebrate those celebrations. And September is National Library Card Sign-Up Month. So that's when year-round, we encourage everybody to get their library card, but this is our national initiative to remind people if they don't have a library card, to definitely get one. So, a free library card. And then lastly, every year we conduct we have a staff development day. So we're part of the Pinellas Public Library Cooperative. There's 14 member libraries, as you know. So in our interlocal agreement with PPLC, every other year, we alternate between having a county-wide staff development day, and then on the off year, each library, if they choose to, does their own staff development day. So last year, we did our own. So this year, it's our county-wide year, and that will be October 13th. And that is, again, coordinated by our PPLC executive director and the committee, a small committee. So it's just a great way to get staff together. You know, we have 14 member libraries. There's a lot of staff members who don't know each other. And then it's a day full of just all workshops and learning opportunities and professional growth and presentations. So it's just a wonderful day of learning and getting to know people that you wouldn't necessarily, because you don't work with them. So it's a great networking event. So it's October 13th. And that is all I have.
Thank you very much. Now, board members to be heard, and I want to bring up the first subject that I think we all want to discuss, the transition from a separate library board that meets quarterly to being part of what would be called Community Engagement and Leisure Services Board that would meet bi-monthly. It was discussed in a workshop to the city council yesterday morning. And so I have some information on what the city council members had to say. They were all in agreement that they felt that this was a way to go, that we have to constantly be looking toward what is the best way to do things, and that there were reasons of efficiency in the fact that when these boards were formed, we didn't have things like Zoom meetings on the internet, and even exchange of information was not as easy. So I would like to open it up to whatever concerns any of you might have about the issue of combining the library board into this new board.
How exactly, you mentioned a little bit of it before, the composition of the board, and how are they putting together this new version, this Community Engagement Leisure Services Board?
Well, first of all, my understanding is that because this is in the charter, that this would have to have open public hearings and then be put to a vote. And so that this would be a long-term process. It sounded like it would take at least a year to implement this kind of a change. But that the hope is that it will actually engender greater community involvement and more input to the city council about the possible workings and utilization of all the facilities of the Clearwater community. So this is just kind of the introductory, throw the idea out there and see if it flies. So the combination would be of the EAB, which is Environmental Advisory Board, and Parks and Rec, and the Library Board. I do know that there's been a great deal of concern from the members of the EAB that truly they don't want this consolidation to occur. The city has its priorities, and as I said yesterday, the city's priorities are shifting. The EAB was established before the city had a sustainability office, and so there are those things that are being done already, that it's not an elimination of the green concerns, shall we say, and that the protecting the environment of Clearwater and its parks and so forth is of vital importance to the city, that continues. However, there will be public hearings first, and I certainly would encourage all the public to follow the schedule of meetings, look for the announcements. Nothing has been set up at this moment. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you have any additional information on the rollout of this change?
I do not.
Okay, so that is my understanding. I did take some notes. I heard them say that the goal is to be more inclusive. I'm not quite sure how that works, and that it says it's the opposite of limiting opportunities for community involvement. Because obviously, when you think of reducing 3 boards into 1, you think, well, that's fewer members of the community who get to have a voice. But I'm certainly willing to listen to the proposals and the thought behind it, because there are other boards that are facing changes as well. And in terms of ours, I wanted to see if I had any other specific comments that I wanted to share.
Well, to me, a bi-monthly meeting is obviously more productive than what we have now. So even though there would only be 2 members representing the library, is that what I'm understanding? That the new consolidated board would have 2 board
Yes,
members?
however, it's not, I don't think that it would necessarily be in the descriptive documents that the members would be selected, from those existing boards.
Oh, I see, so it could just be.
Everyone will have an opportunity to apply to be on
I see.
the new board.
Ah,
So
okay.
there's not a necessary grandfathering in of any
I
of
see.
us.
Okay.
That's my understanding. And if I have that wrong, I would urge someone in the city, because the mayor said this was not his idea. I'm not sure where this idea came from. And although there would be some cost savings, they said that's not why they were doing it. Said it's a matter of every once in a while you need to look at the structures you have and see, are they meeting the needs of the community the most effectively? And that, of course, is always a wise move to make. So I personally want to hear a great deal more about what
Yeah,
is
how
being
is it-
said.
how does it work?
I can certainly read the description of this. Establish new bi-monthly board comprised of 7 members. The purpose would be to provide feedback and guidance to City Council on endeavors that enhance sustainable recreation, parks, and cultural programs at city facilities, and foster community interest in events and initiatives that promote community well-being. The board will engage the community by holding outreach sessions on topics or initiatives supporting the city's strategic plan, including community well-being and environmental stewardship, and that it will seek public input regarding services and programs at city facilities. So that's where we stand. That's as much as I know. If anyone else has any additional information or questions or comments, please feel free to share.
Just listening to all of it is, there's a benefit in bi-monthly, certainly, because you get more opportunities to have some input and speak and maybe do some planning and some, get some ideas and brainstorming going for all of these areas. But my concern is, those are a lot of areas. And
Absolutely.
And I'm concerned is, one, how in the world long is the agenda going to be for these meetings?
Yes,
You
and
are covering
let's face
a
it, you've
broad
got city
swath of,
supervisors of each of those
Yes.
departments.
Yes.
And they're each going to give a report.
and their
like
staff,
the
right,
way-
they're each going to
Yeah.
give the director's report. It's covering a wide variety, and my concern is that library just gets lost in the mix. You read all of those.
And certainly, we know that there are members of the public who've said, oh, who needs libraries anymore? You can just look up everything
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
And those of us who are protectors, defenders,
Right,
and advocates of
right.
libraries are going, wait, this is where the community gathers for all sorts
Right.
of things.
Yeah,
Like
it's-
preserving their heritage,
Exactly.
learning about it, and 100 other things that we know our library system is already doing in its many successful programs. So yes, the idea of our libraries being minimized
Yes.
is a very real
Yes.
concern.
Yes.
So,
I mean, the other way to look at it too is, bi-monthly, maybe you get more people to come, and you can talk about libraries, but you have so many things on there to talk about. How
Exactly.
much time will you get to
Yes.
focus on hearing Jennifer's wonderful reports about
Yes.
what the libraries are doing?
because we know the
Because you've got so
EAB
many-
has a very
yeah, this-
full
yeah, that's
agenda.
every single
Thank-
time,
yes.
bi-monthly, that will be a very full agenda. So that's,
Yes.
my concern is
Well, I
that the
think those
library
are
make it.
legitimate concerns to raise
Yes.
in the public hearings.
I will, yes.
And, yes, and
Yeah.
as that information becomes
Yeah.
available, I would recommend to any of you in the room,
Mm-hmm.
please plan to be there and make your voice heard.
Yes, yes.
I had the impression, looking at that pack that you have, that this has a real savings feeling to it also, because they do mention that a sentry security guard is needed for each of the meetings, and that's obviously costs money.
Oh, and so that's a.
Yes, and that the filming of it and all the
Right.
AV.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Well-
There's a definite money component to
Well, and
consolidation.
as the mayor said, and I was trying to get very precise wording during the meeting, Mayor Rector said this wasn't his idea, but he agrees with it and likes the cost-cutting aspect
Yes.
of it.
Ah,
And so that was certainly a takeaway.
Another
Yeah.
thing that might be a consideration is those city council meetings are really, they're out of control and by no fault of the city council or the
Yeah.
police. I don't even know what the answer is for what's happening there. But maybe there's some kind of inclination that if they cut down the amount of meetings that people could come and overrun, that maybe that would help somehow. I don't know.
And
I
that's
just-
certainly unfortunate because the more a community engages its residents, the more you feel like you are a legitimate stakeholder in the
Right.
community. I did not hear anything of that nature in the rollout of this possible change
Yeah.
yesterday. So,
And I noticed the nuisance abatement board,
Yes,
which would
would
be
go away
perfect for
completely.
what we're experiencing
Yeah.
in the city now,
Yes.
is being disbanded and hasn't met since '23.
yes,
So that could have really done some work here, I gotta
yes.
say. There's a lot of nuisances to abate.
Yes, and in case you wanted to know, the other changes being recommended, the Air Park Advisory Board would be
I saw that,
eliminated.
yeah.
That's a private
Yeah, I
entity.
went online.
Yes, and that, the same thing with nuisance abatement board would be eliminated, and that 3 boards, which I just spoke about, would be combined. So,
Well, I guess we
Stay
should be glad
tuned.
we're not getting canceled.
and be thinking about what you want to share with the city, and why this may not be the best direction to go.
Interesting. I had another point to bring
By
up
all
too, when
means.
we were talking about the first and second reading of the budgets that were coming up, and I don't know if it's appropriate in the sunshine. I think it's okay. If we got in contact with the other 2 library organizations, the Library Foundation and the Friends of the Library, and talked about having a showing at both of those meetings, I don't know if that violates anything, or,
I tried to do that after we had our last meeting. I tried to get your contact information, Library Foundation, Library, Friends of the Library. So we could come together as a group that could have a power together. And it seems that that is not allowed or
Well,
not
I
a
think-
sunshine problem or
but I think we
something.
could go to their meetings.
Can we?
Their meetings are not open to the public.
The
They're board
foundation-
meetings.
the foundation-
Board meetings.
Oh, okay. And that's Friends of the Library too? They're not
Friends of the
open?
Library and Library
Okay.
Foundation,
Okay.
yes.
Well, we could reach out to them.
I don't know that we can.
Well, if you become a friend of the library
Yes.
and join the organization, you are a member.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you are a
Yes.
member, which is, yeah. what
That's a
I'm
really
planning
good idea.
To do.
And of course, the Library Foundation welcomes all donations and
That's
any
right.
input.
And if you're a
from
donor,
any of
you're
the
part of
public-
the organization.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying?
You said it, yes. I think we all heard that loud and
Okay,
clear.
all right, thank you.
I like it.
Yes.
It does feel like, this feels very, you're just hit a wall every time you're trying to do something. That's how it feels to be a board member.
Well,
here
you
in
gotta,
Clearwater.
you have to kind of think, and I
Outside
always
the
ask
box.
permission, you know, but
Yeah.
think sort of out of the box of
I
how
love it.
you can also get something done.
I love it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I know when I first heard of this, I went, oh, Doge comes to Clearwater. There's stuff. And I, you know me, I have no filter. I should.
You got
Then
a
I
good
thought, wait a
filter.
second.
You got a
what-
good filter.
And that's why I came yesterday, because I wanted to hear why this was being proposed and,
Yeah.
and how the rollout would be done thoughtfully with as much engagement as the public wish to have. And that's what I'm looking for. So just keep pulling up that website and checking
Yes.
on when meetings are going to be had. And certainly, if you can attend city council meetings, so that we hear what is being planned. If we want to have our voices heard, it's going to be incumbent on us to
Sure.
make that happen.
Yes.
And sadly, it's not a group, us as a group. It is like you said, keep checking, like nobody's helping you do that, you know, like there's no, hey guys, don't forget, we, you know, like we're not allowed to talk. That's just crazy to me. You know, it's crazy.
I am allowed to email the board members
Oh.
for informational purposes, so I can email and say, this
There's-
meeting is on this date,
Oh,
this will be
good.
Okay.
discussed.
That would
We
be
would
awesome.
appreciate it tremendously if you would do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe
Because
I'm
I'm
allowed to do
thinking
that.
I need to attend more of these
Yeah.
meetings. Had I not attended the meeting yesterday, I don't know that we would have had any information about what's being
Well, I saw it
projected.
come up, but I was on another board. I had another board meeting last night. I was like, oh, I can't make that meeting. I desperately wanted to know what.
Oh,
was
I had a
gonna
meeting
happen.
yesterday morning before that meeting, so I was actually late coming in.
Yeah.
Because like, I had a 9 o'clock meeting and then that one was at 10, and it's like, okay, how quickly can I get over
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, so when I emailed you last week or Monday with this agenda and asking if you were gonna be here and whatnot, I include the presentation Donna just read from, along with the agenda. And I believe I mentioned in my email that the special budget meeting was yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
If you
did.
can't make it in person, all public meetings are broadcast. So they are available on demand after the meeting. So you can go to YouTube, Facebook, or even the city's website and watch the recording of the meeting. So I just want to, if you didn't know that, I wanted to
Yeah.
just let the board
Yes,
know
I usually-
that if you can't attend live in person, you can definitely watch it, view it after the meeting.
And again, the other thing we can always do is call and email
Sure.
all of the city
Council,
council
sure.
members to express our feelings on the subject, so that if you see meetings coming up, but you know you have to be out of town, okay, put your thoughts in email and email all of them.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a very good point.
All right. Do any of the board members have anything further to discuss?
I would just like to ask, really, the selection of the three proposals for this library, is that not something that we should have been involved in? I mean, I'm really just asking. I'm not saying that it is. I don't really know what the function of this board is yet. I mean, it just seems like this is such a huge thing. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Normally how requests for proposals operate is a city staff committee is formed to review proposals and rank and score, and then provide a recommendation to the city council members and the mayor. Ultimately, they make the decision. So staff provides a recommendation, and this is in regard to any request for proposals for any department, any project. They make a recommendation to the city council, and in a public meeting, city council discusses if they need more information, but they make the decision. So there will be a presentation to city council for staff recommendation from this committee, and the public will have, I would assume, will have an opportunity to provide feedback.
So we are basically just the public. We don't
Yeah,
have
so- any
any kind of like consideration beyond that. Like we're just
No,
public.
you would just show up, and I guess you could say you're a member of the library advisory board.
Yeah, I
But
guess
you're
that's
gonna-
about it.
That's the way you're going to have the input, is you'd have to show up and.
But in this particular situation, since the call for proposals went out to say, we want people to come and use this building, it could be a portion of this building, or it could be the entirety of the building. Like, that's a big difference, right? If somebody just uses the cafe part, or if they take over the whole building. So I guess having some impact on that decision feels like this board might want to have an impact on that. But if you're saying we're just public people and the same as people coming to a meeting, I don't know, I just feel
Well,
like.
and keep in mind that the board, the body, you're the liaison to the city council members and mayor. So at any time, you can call or email or request a meeting if you want with either all or some. So you do have, an opportunity to communicate your thoughts, your ideas with the city council.
Okay.
In addition, I would think that since these proposals will be known by our next meeting, but of course, a program would not be implemented that quickly, if we wish to have some input or a recommendation to the city council from the library advisory board, that's something we could develop at our next meeting.
That's good. Because, but I'm just concerned that like now these 3 proposals have come in and they've been accepted as the proposals that will be selected from. What if they all want the entire building and the discussion of us still having a percentage of this building is over? I know you can't tell us,
Yeah.
but, I guess I'm gonna go
Yeah, I guess my
Googling
feeling
this.
is that could not be decided as quickly as by our next meeting.
No, I
to be
totally get it,
done.
but
Yeah.
but if we had been a part of the discussion
Oh.
before these three
Right,
three
I
were
hear you.
selected,
Yeah.
and we said, no, we want at least one of them to give us still a percentage of this
Yes.
building.
Yeah.
If we had been given some input into that, I don't know.
I
mean,
agree that
guess-
it feels that we were blindsided.
Thank you. That's how it feels to me too, but I'm still learning like how this board functions and what its real purpose is. And to me, what I'm hearing, correct me if I'm wrong, the purpose of this board and the power of this board will be as each volunteer member decides to spend their own time on it, right?
Well, no, and also, as Jennifer said, that that we could approach the city council.
Right.
And ask for-
Individually, under their own power, not
But-
as a board.
But I think as a board, you could probably ask for a meeting with the city council. Is that true?
As a body,
As a body?
I would have to ask the clerk.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
Because
Because
otherwise
that
we're
would
just
be,
public
that's important.
people.
if
Well,
that-
the other
that's
thing
it.
that we used to have a yearly report from each advisory board to the city council. I remember putting that together and presenting it a couple of years in September. And I don't see why we couldn't do that again, and we would incorporate whatever recommendation we develop at our next meeting and make that part of what we want to present to the city and say, on behalf of the Library Advisory Board, this is the recommendation.
Yeah,
we make.
That's a good idea.
That's a great
And
idea.
if you look under board duties, and
Pardon me?
if you
Board
look under the
duties.
board duties document I provided, that, an annual report is the expectation of.
Yes.
Of all city boards.
Is that
So-
September? A September document?
It doesn't have to be in
No, it can-
September,
yeah.
but generally,
Like
it's a
at
good
budget,
time.
budgety time, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that perhaps after our next meeting, that we could plan.
Awesome.
This is when we'll do our annual report to the city council, and it will include the recommendation we wish to make on the library usage.
Awesome.
And any other concerns?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
So in a sense, our role is what we make it.
Yes.
Right.
Like I said, you had to be creative and think about
And-
how you're going to have an impact.
Right.
And that's the thing, are we going to be activists?
Yeah,
Yes.
And,
that's the question.
mhm.
But also, the question's a little odd right now, because if none of us are making it to the next consolidation, like,
Well, that's not
what's-
gonna happen for a year, at
Right,
least a
that's
year.
true,
so
that's true,
We have
that's
at
true.
least a year to be activists.
That's true. That's true.
And then you can still be a private citizen.
Yes, yes.
Always.
It just doesn't stay fresh every 3 months. So like this discussions we had last time,
Yeah, it's
if we
hard.
were to make a plan about that we were going to present here today in this meeting, it's so, we're not talking to each other in between.
Exactly.
We're not allowed to discuss things.
Yeah,
It feels so powerless. So I just don't know.
We'll figure it
Okay.
out.
Okay.
All right, are there any further comments, concerns, suggestions from members of the board? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned at 11:15.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.